Welcome to the College Admission TV podcast. Join us for insights from education leaders on today's academic landscape. We are excited to have as our guest Dr. Greg Jones, president of Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much for your time today.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
You bet.
So, hey, this will be, as you know, this is a round two. I almost look at this as, almost a fast break down the court. I mean, this will be about a 15-minute kind of a where are we now, as a follow-up from where we were, I guess, a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago when we initially did our podcast. And so you let me know when you're ready, and
I'm ready.
We'll fire away. All right, let's do it. Well, hey, Greg, since 2021, when you began as president at Belmont University, you have seen significant growth. Roughly, and again, keep me honest here with the numbers, but roughly from around 8,000 up to 9,000 students. Is that fair to say?
We were a little over 8,000. We're getting close to 9,000. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that is significant for any institution. Can you talk about how has that happened?
Well, Belmont's had a long run now of about 25 years of significant growth. It's been both by adding programs and colleges. And so our newest college that we're welcoming a new class of students this summer is in medicine. But we've added over the last 25 years a number of new programs, both starting law school and pharmacy, and then adding the Watkins College of Art and the O'Moore College of Architecture and Design, fashion design, so that we've been able to grow through new programs, as well as just increasing our overall footprint. So now we have 12 colleges, and like any kind of portfolio that you might have, if enrollment in one college by national trends dips a bit, you can increase in other areas. And so that's been a significant part of our momentum. And I also think that it's been because we really are well known for being an institution that cares about teaching and learning, and our faculty really pour into students' lives. And I think that helps keep us with a virtuous cycle of, freshmen telling their friends back in high schools, hey, this is a good place to be. The faculty here care about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, could you give us a kind of a snapshot, an aerial view of Belmont, the location and the campus? I'd love for you to do that because your campus is beautiful. Your campus, in my estimation, is located in such a perfect spot, but maybe you can give that snapshot.
Sure. We're just a couple miles south of downtown Nashville, so that it's easy to get downtown, but also we're far enough away that it has a feel of its own kind of identifiable campus. We sit on about 100 acres of land, and we benefit from really beautiful architectural design. We've had the same architects and same builders for the last 3 decades plus, and so that's really enhanced the overall beauty of the campus. We sit on a bit of a hill, so the term Belmont, beautiful mountain, it really is a gorgeous setting that is proximate to downtown. We're about a mile east of Vanderbilt. And so it's in a great location in Nashville. And the construction of the campus has just been done with great thoughtfulness and beauty.
So now how have you been able to become a destination, not just for in-state students, but you have a large out-of-state population as well, and even international. So you've become a global destination. How do you go about doing that? Really spreading the word and making parents and families know why Belmont is different and a place to attend?
It's a great question. I think I would say that we're benefiting from Nashville's growth, and Nashville's become much more of a destination, both nationally and internationally. So that's been a big help. And you can chart actually how Belmont and Nashville have grown together. That is to say, Nashville's been known as Music City, and Belmont's had a long history of leadership in music and music business. Then Nashville's really developed in healthcare. And so Belmont also, in the opening of our new College of Medicine, to complement nursing and pharmacy and health sciences. And now there's a growing trend for Nashville in technology, and that's a new area that Belmont's really investing in through our data collaborative and our work in artificial intelligence. So there's been an iterative process for both Nashville and Belmont. And then you ask a question about how we spread the word about what's different about Belmont. And there, I'd highlight three words. I think it's about our mission. We're a Christ-centered university, and we really emphasize that centeredness while also being welcoming and embracing of people who come from other faiths and people who come from no faith. But that gives us a clear North Star and sense of purpose about who we are and forming character in our students. And so that mission really is something we want to emphasize. And it's about that character. It's also about an entrepreneurial mindset that is important to us, that we want to be focused on where education needs to go, not where it once was, in that sense. It's also about our people, the kind of people we have in this community. Our faculty and staff, as I mentioned, really pour into students. And I regularly hear students and alumni talk about individual faculty who helped come alongside them and really invested in them. And that's been a real drawing card for students and Belmont. And then third, I'd say it's the soul of the place. And that soul is a way of talking about our culture, but it goes deeper than just culture to say that there's something, as one parent of a new student said to me just a couple of weeks ago, there's something magical about this campus. And I think it's the people that convey a deeper sense of soul and what it means that this is a place where we want you to feel joy and hope. We want you to have a sense of humility and a sense of love. And it's about the cultivation of wisdom in a time when a lot of universities are just focused on narrow understandings of information or knowledge.
Well, and to that point, just to mention a statistic that just came out in Kubo, I'd love to get your take on what advice you'd have for other private institutions. The report came out that talked about tuition discounting. Tuition discounting has reached 56%, the highest rate that we've seen with private institutions. And I know Belmont is bucking that trend. You're maintaining a very healthy tuition discount. And so, what you just mentioned, what would be your recommendations to other private institutions just to make sure that there's that balance of tuition discounting with profitability?
Yeah. Well, I would add to the statistic you mentioned, the declining value proposition of higher education. That number has been declining among parents of college-age students for the last several years, and that was even before the turmoil of October 7th and then the FAFSA debacle. And so, we're in a time where parents aren't confident about any higher education, especially private higher education. And what I would stress is the importance of any institution of higher education, but especially private higher education, has to make it clear what the value proposition is. What's different? Why should they invest in that? And I think it can't be just about getting a credential. It can't just be about conveying knowledge. It has to be about that mix of character and purpose and an entrepreneurial mindset. It's got to be about preparing people for the next 40 years, not the next 4 years. And having that clarity that says, we're going to come alongside students, and we want to come alongside you, not just while you're here in a degree program. We want to continue to come alongside you and support you because you're going to need to continue to learn and grow because we're in an ever-changing world. It's becoming commonplace to say that, a lot of the jobs that today's 18-year-olds will have don't currently exist. That is to say, 20 years from now, there are going to be new kinds of jobs. So we're not preparing people for their first job. although we hope to do that as well, we really need to prepare you to be the kind of people and cultivate the kind of leadership that's going to enable you to navigate twists and turns and new opportunities that are going to emerge over the course of the next 40 years.
Well, and I think another advantage that you have, in part because of the location, you just spoke to that, making sure students are career ready and making sure that they are prepared in a world that's ever changing. I would imagine the business relationships and the community relationships that Belmont has built has really helped propel your programs and your institution to ensure that students are career ready.
Absolutely. We spend a lot of time talking to employers in this region and across the country and around the world to ask questions about what are you looking for? What do you need? We actually have put together an advisory board in healthcare, which embraces not just medicine or nursing or pharmacy and health sciences, but across the board. And we meet our board chair, who was in the healthcare industry, Milton Johnson, as CEO of HCA. But we're meeting with leaders from across this region to say, what are you looking for in the healthcare workforce? How can we adapt our programs to help serve the needs you have as you look to the future? And we do that in business and in architecture and in all of our areas to keep very close touch with the changing developments. We recruited a new dean for our Mike Curb College of Entertainment and Music Business, and she came to us from being the CEO of Spotify in this region. And it's that industry expertise. She knows where things are heading, and so can help prepare students for those careers as they're really developing. I sometimes say, half jokingly, that too much of higher education is preparing for 1995 in case it comes back again. We want to be preparing people for 2030, 2040, 2050.
Yeah. Well, and as you look ahead, and even today, diversity and equity is very important. You hear a lot of talk around diversity, equity, inclusion. And, from my estimation and others, those three words don't mean a lot without belonging. Can you talk about the initiatives Belmont has taken as it relates to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging?
Yeah, we've actually named our office Hope, Unity, and Belonging, because I've said as a Christ-centered university, we ought to be going deeper and doing better than just the government. And the term DEI has become a real political football and lots of controversy around it, which I think misses the boat on a lot of the issues that we need to be focusing on. And I do think you're right about that sense of belonging and the feeling of really being a part of the community. So I say to students as well as to new faculty and staff, we don't want you just to be a student at Belmont or to work at Belmont. We want you to feel like you're an integral part of Belmont and that you're going to make us better as we hope to also make you better. And that's really important. And so we really want to focus on that sense of belonging. We also focus on hope and unity because it's not enough to check boxes or to just kind of have a tolerance. We want to be cultivating deeper relationships and richer understanding that connects us to one another. That you can have that sense of unity and have vigorous disagreements. Any university ought to be a place where there are a lot of disagreements. That's part of what iron sharpening iron does, and the learning and the engagement. And we can do that while people feel like they're an integral part of this community. And so we work really hard to cultivate that sense of belonging as well as hope and unity.
So as we look forward, as part of that strategic plan, where do you see Belmont in the next 5 to 7 years?
It's a great question. We want to go deeper in the areas where we already have strength. So, over the next several years, we have our first class of medical students starting this summer. We've got to build out that class where we have a full cohort of 4 years of medical students. That'll be an important priority for us. We think we can grow our graduate and professional students. We don't want to grow much larger in undergraduate, but we can grow in graduate and professional, particularly with hybrid learning. I think we want to do more with educational innovation and new ways of delivering education and hybrid programs, things like that. And I think we want to really foster the intersections. There's an opportunity to really bring people together. I've got our deans and senior leaders reading a book called Your Brain on Art, which shows how the arts and healthcare, for example, interact. Most of the big challenges we face in our culture and in our world don't sit with any one discipline or any one college. And I think the opportunity for us with our 12 colleges is to find the creativity in the intersections and then build those programs to anticipate where technology and AI is leading us. I don't want us to take a defensive posture on that. I want us to say, how do we actually have a redemptive approach to AI and technology? And how do we see it enabling us to deepen our understanding of what it means to be human and to help us solve problems? So I think we're going to go deeper. We can expand some in our graduate and professional programs, and we want to look for creative synergies.
Well, Dr. Greg Jones, president of Belmont University, hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Great to be with you, Brad.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the College Admission TV Presidential Podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll bring you another insightful conversation with a distinguished leader in higher education.